Oh, the vid. Why can't I just quit you? Okay, well, not a lot of prep time as usual. You've learned to expect this by now. Oh, look at me looking all, bodacious. Man, I put on a couple pounds, I think. Alright, just perusing. I went to work way too early, accidentally. So I found myself just killing some time. And while I'm killing some time, I'm turning this crap on so I can see comments if they come in. So, okay. Joe Rogan, right? Pretty big deal in terms of an audience. I cannot help it when he has, let me get this breakdown on. When he has Russell Brand on, one of my favorite people in this industry of people using their voices. Okay, I don't know. This man has evolved. I akin his movement kind of to my evolution. Hey, Cindy, good morning. Mr. President, it's good to have you here. What's up? This is a dead horse kind of a topic. But I think it was what transpired will live forever within us, within our generation, the generations after. Okay, the vid, the vax, all that crap. I'm going to play a clip from Joe Rogan and Russell Brand, two of my favorite brains, coming together talking about this tired topic. And all it does is simply showcases just how just ruggedly these mainstream sources lied to us without shame, without fear. And they're completely called out. And every time anybody has the cojones to call them out, they get, lambasted and ostracized. Only thankfully, we do have people that have gone anti-mainstream, and we get to listen to them. And we don't listen to the mainstream saying, no, don't listen to the man behind the curtain. So let me play this.
Well, not just that, but the
What's up, Pooh?
lies that CNN...
Pooh, I got to have a long talk with you, man. Just privately, though. Certain things just aren't worth going on live and keeping on here. Just so I'm going to keep on keeping on.
Telling about it. When you
I hope you're well.
CNN and MSNBC and all these different cable news network shows
Queen,
calling it
good
horse
morning.
dewormer, when it was a drug that won the Nobel Prize for the inventor of it, is a drug that has had billions, literally billions of prescriptions filled. It's a drug that saved lives, a drug that's on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines. And
I want to read a quote that I screen capped. Okay, here you go, you trolls. Here's one of my Facebooks. The biggest drug cartel in the world bought all the media and all the politicians and locked people in their homes and wouldn't let them out until they did the cartel's drugs over and over. That's a quote from Woody Harrelson. I am not apologizing for being this passionate about something that was so big and still has impacts on us to this day. The friends of mine, family that lost their jobs and their businesses, their livelihoods, their savings, everything was turned upside down. Our own psychosis, our way of life, everything changed as a result of something with a 0.9% chance of transference. What did Rogan do? 3 days he got better without doing the mainstream's bidding. And so he's gonna just explain and articulate everything they did to discredit him and how it blew up in their fucking face.
To have the gall and to have the sheer audacity to just out and out lie to people about what a medication is. And it's used on humans far more than it's used on horses. And that they were calling that horse dewormer to try to mock me because they knew that I was unvaccinated and I kicked COVID very quickly. And they did not want that narrative out there. And
this ivermectin is used on humans far more, as he's going to point out. But he's going to point out something that they did, and I don't know that everybody knows, because we all have learned to turn our backs on the mainstream narrative and pushers. They're beholden to their shareholders, stockholders, pill pushers, yada yada. A little cheap trick they did, if you weren't watching or paying attention, or you just missed it, listen to this, and it should be just as shocking then as it is now.
Beholden to their handlers. They were beholden to the people that give them exorbitant amounts of money in advertising revenue, and they fucking followed in line, and they all piled on.
Sheep,
and they lost a
shepherds.
fuckload of credibility from it. And if you look at the way people who saw that, how many people saw that and would go, oh my God, they're just lying.
Yeah.
They're just lying.
Not done.
There's no excuse for that. You can't imagine a scenario where they really thought I was taking horse medication. You can't imagine a scenario where they thought that I couldn't get real people medication. You can't imagine it.
They really didn't think this one through, and I want this one shining example because, I mean, while we have so many, we don't have many that are able to call it out with an audience. So I can't wait for him to just talk about this one little thing they did.
I'm not poor. I'm not without resources. I'm not confused. I'm not without the recommendations of actual physicians. Like, none of that makes any sense. The idea that they could go on television and say, oh, this conspiracy theorist is taking horse dewormer. And that was the narrative, not, hey, how'd that guy get better so quick?
Yeah.
How is it 3 days after he got COVID? We shut the whole country down
Hey,
for this thing,
Limelight.
and he looks fine. And then they changed my filter and turned me yellow on television. Like they took the original video of me and ran through a filter to make me look horrible. It's really, they did some wild shit. But that
one more time for the people in the back.
Video of me and ran through a filter to make me look horrible. It's really, they did some wild shit. But
So this is why, ladies and gentlemen, why when it comes to the mainstream, anything, anyone, the people in power, those that are beholden to people with money, we can't trust anything. Not what they see, not what we see, not what they do. Okay, every little cheap tactic that can be used will be used. We cannot even trust our eyes anymore. Because, I don't know why they didn't just go full on and use a deep fake and off this guy. Thankfully, he has such an audience. But they will go as far as to change everything from what you see to what you hear, to manipulate the facts, always, to twist the truth to make you scared, to make you complacent with being in fear. Thus, you'll offer all the control to the mainstream, to the powers that be, to the shareholders, and they'll have you buying and consuming anything because you believe they somehow made you believe that you were doing it for the greater good. It wasn't even about individual health or rights. They somehow made us override our brains. I don't know how. I'm still proud. I hate reminding people that there are those of us that have not taken that little pokey poke and we're just fine without it. I got sick from it, survived. That's how it went, okay? And then the things that happened in Jersey that hit close to home and hit one of my family members, okay? Rest in peace, Aunt Rose. New Jersey, that Cuomo fucker put all the old people that were the most susceptible, and I can only imply something so dangerous, almost to infer, allegedly, to get those numbers up, to kind of match, you know, what the devastation was. The way it was, I was watching a comedy special last night, Bill Burr's explaining the way the media had it portrayed. We should have been driving out there. It was like The Walking Dead the first 2 weeks, and I know we're tired of this shit, but I was expecting to see frickin' bodies just stacked up high everywhere the way they were explaining it. And while everybody knew somebody who was impacted to some degree, mostly I saw the impact of what it had on people's ability to live free. While the people in power got to do whatever they wanted and get caught on the beach or in restaurants while we're all locked up and hoping we have a job the next day. Unless you were deemed essential worker. I'll never forget that term. It will forever be in my consciousness. Okay, so.
Wild shit that they did cost them their credibility. I just don't think they understood the landscape when they were doing that.
I don't think they do at all. I think they took an extreme editorial perspective without realising that's what they were doing. And I think that
they're just as stupid as you and me.
Found itself on a kind of a peninsula that where there is insignificant variety, in my view, between the two parties, which is why they're so willing to remain engaged in cultural war discourse and the conventional hot button topics in this country in particular around the program.
That's the smoke and mirrors. That's what keeps our attention while they keep on making the money at the expense of our constitutional rights.
Pro-choice and guns arguments. They're willing to remain in that territory because financially and economically they are ultimately aligned. That the most powerful interests in America are happy with either outcome. I think that what's happened in the media space is they've unwittingly found themselves in a place where there's a kind of that incompetence was afforded, that they're not used to being challenged, that the assumption was that you would be sunk by that narrative, that it was an insignificant new space, and obviously it was a massive...
You would become overwhelmed if you were the outlier, a dissenter. You would be overwhelmed. I kind of have some sort of notion of what that's like, where all the talking heads, they completely discredit you and cover you up and make it so anything that you say is already silenced because you're already written off. So there is no going against the tide, going against, anything, the
Calculations.
narrative.
They weren't watching what was happening. They weren't listening to the conversations with McCulloch and Malone and Weinstein, and that it is apolitical, and that also that in order to
Should have
make
been apolitical.
themselves seem distinct from one another.
You
they
hear that?
amplified-
Apolitical. It should have been an issue for both sides, every human being as an individual. But we're so obsessed with group think and speak and just sounding like our neighbors within our community and talking heads or whatever the case, that it's become dangerous to think differently than the masses. And that is a very dangerous place to be if you start to really believe you cannot ask your own damn questions, go to any source that you wish to. It's all a part of this cult mentality that I believe I have stumbled upon, and it scares the crap out of me every time I run into it. And it's a tactic the mainstream has been practicing for a very long time.
Their small differences to the point where they recognise actually that isn't America anymore. That people like that, even when I was a kid, if someone's just like right wing, that's just like, oh, that's a right wing person. Like you've been your family around your table. I read something about Tucker Carlson the other day, like because of the release of those January the 6th documents to Fox.
I'm slow every morning.
And to Tucker in particular, and it said far right journalist Tucker Carlson. If Tucker Carlson's not far right journalist, he's like a normal right wing guy. Far right means marching.
Everything has to be
I've
radicalized.
seen me written as far right.
Far right.
They,
That's
they
like
described me as far right.
tattoos on the face,
Yeah.
extreme boots. Yeah, far right's not just like, oh, I believe in Christianity and
Right.
stuff like that. That's so the rhetoric has
Yeah.
become hysterical, and the horse medicine was the same. They had the option.
This
of
guy
saying,
can
look,
talk.
We don't know that there's no evidence as yet that ivermectin is effective in these spaces because no one's trialing it because there's no money in it because science is a subset of big pharma and the economic imperatives that right thing. No one's doing experiments into natural immunity because natural immunity is not profitable.
That's
no
right.
One's doing those experiments are not being underwritten. There's no clinical trials for that because no one wants that data for vitamin D or for steroids or for all of the things that came out as ultimately effective once the profits have been gleaned. And then how can you expect to maintain the authority? How can you expect to sit behind those logos?
Damn, this guy's like freestyling.
CNN and MSNBC and claim that kind of piety and certainty and the way that they were.
Yes, they have a way of addressing the people in a condescending manner where we're supposed to feel stupid and be like, please sir, can I have another? And we completely forfeit any sense of individuality. I don't understand how people just continue to go on with their lives, and to this day I still know the people that are usually in line with the stereotypes that you may have in mind that still defend everything that happened despite the damages that we have wrought, that we've lived through. I don't understand it. They're my friends, some of them are my family, and they justify everything that's happened. For that it was all somehow, it went just perfect. Are you fucking kidding me? It went perfect? Really? Have we taken a look at everything as a result? I've never seen working. All right, for one, now we have one good thing, working remotely, and now we're trying to get back into the offices, and people are, I don't know, lazy, or it's so convenient. And secondly, oh god, do not have a Biden moment right now. What's the other thing? Where now people have become, and this is something I haven't looked up, but I'm going to assume, where ordering from home and getting your DoorDash, your Uber Eats, and all this, it has made us more complacent and okay with being lazy. I am getting work text messages. Okay, somehow it's, for example, I'm guilty, okay? I ordered from Burger King what would have been maybe a $12 order. But because, let's just say, the lockdowns made me somehow, I don't know, okay with, I don't want to take the 5-minute drive suddenly. I've never had an issue with a 5-minute drive. But suddenly I'm like, yeah, I'm just feeling too damn lazy. Screw it. Pandemic, whatever justified the laziness, right? I paid over $40 for some Burger King, man. So now, if I multiplied that to the masses, we have made it more appropriate for us to be lazier human beings, which just makes us like cattle, and more apt to spend more money. Oh my goodness, stop texting me. While we're lazy, which is the best of both worlds for the people that are suckling at the teat of the human condition here. Now, yes, some jobs have been created, but Jobs that aren't paying that well. There's a lot of variables to look at, but I look at it like they just made us happy to live in a cage. And it felt like a giant experiment. And I don't care about saying that out loud these days. Back then, why'd I get the YouTube strike? Old story. I read a .gov doctor-written op-ed from the .gov NIH, National Institute of Health, out loud on YouTube. And I got a strike. It's still there. I contested it. What did they say? Sorry, YouTube, love you guys. You're not a doctor and you cannot read a doctor's opinion, essentially.
Outraged by it was astonishing, like a kind of a how dare you have this credibility, how dare people listen to you. And I think that it's precisely because of a willingness to listen one day to a left-wing person, a right-wing
What's up,
person,
Sly? Hey, let me give a big public shout out because I got so much shit for showing any support. Oh, we gotta go big screen for this one. I don't care. Oh, this was so funny. Because I refused to go after Sly in some assault-esque manner and attack her. Because I decided to make peace with somebody that I had definitely gotten off on the wrong foot. People that I respected and appreciated turned on me because I wouldn't join in the attack. That is an example of what I'm talking about here, with people thinking in groups and not for themselves. And I can have no part of it. So I have no regret about the month hiatus I felt I needed to take. Fuck being told how to think, how to act, what to do, what to say. I'm not having any of it. Just because you don't like somebody doesn't make anybody else around you beholden to follow monkey see, monkey do. Nobody has that fucking power in this world. Nobody should. And if they do, it's dangerous. You should be questioning them, yourself, and everything about this reality you have found yourself in. So, Sly, big shout out to your haters, to my haters, to anybody that has found the motivation to make so much drama over bullshit. Fuck you. Now, what was I saying?
People talking
Almost
about
done.
Egypt, and people talking about MMA. That's how people
Hey,
are
Shamrock.
now. People don't want that kind of centralised authority. It's over because of the way that technology has afforded people access to a variety of news sources, and a counter-narrative for any story can emerge almost at the same speed as a narrative. So now the price of authority is legitimacy. Authority has to be legit. And you can't, like, the same way as they did that horsewormer stuff with you. Like, if you watch Biden in Poland, he said, like, this speech is along the lines of... Putin thought that Ukraine would roll over. Putin didn't know how brave Ukrainian people are. He is a tyrant. And of course Ukrainian people are brave. Of course it's disgusting that there's suffering under this military invasion. But there's, like, I could handle it, I think, if the president went, listen, we were involved.
Why wouldn't Biden, like, address the things that the mainstream and the government know we talk about it. They have access to our social media. They monitor our social media when they take certain actions to see if things are getting detected of what they're doing. You don't think it's true? Go ahead and watch some fucking movies. You think the movie... Remember what I've said time and time again. They tell the truth with lies. Mile 22 is a movie. They showed a special op of the military doing an attack on some insurgency of Russians. Of course, it's the Russians. And they were monitoring everybody's social media and phone calls so they could do this little hit within a 3-minute span and get the fuck out. Now, tell me that idea just was written for that movie and that movie alone. We know from James Comey way back when they've been listening in on us. When Zuckerberg in 2017, he had a picture of his camera with electric tape over it. And then when they asked the FBI, they're like, we assumed that you all knew that we could watch you whenever the fuck we want. And our appliances, our ceiling fans, anything with a camera or any kind of electricity can essentially spy the fuck on you and identify every single goddamn thing that you have so they know how to market to you. We're becoming nothing more than a bunch of serial numbers to spend our money and die. And maybe, if they're really lucky, we don't question the status quo.
That coup in 2014, the kind of, even the sort of people that are, the diplomats that are involved in this, are the same diplomats that are involved in stuff like Iraq and Afghanistan. BlackRock are going to profit subsequently.
Yeah, that J6 footage, man, that's something I've been so reluctant to talk about, but why, I ask? I have a platform. I feel so blessed to have a platform. I can't hold back anymore. It's fucking ridiculous. There's too many things. You know what? I've gotten the flack already, the J6 thing. All right, we have footage of what Pelosi's daughter, and look, I got fact checked by the fact checkers, but she was talking to people that were there in some legal capacity, and Pelosi's daughter herself, I ain't shitting ya, do the search yourself or I'll go get it my damn self. She said it wasn't what is it? Oh, damn it, what's that big R word? Whatever, oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm having a space out, but that whole term that they're using, that they took over, she said it wasn't that. That's just the mainstream outlets' tactic and strategy. Damn, I really can't remember. Resurgency? Shit. Okay, but we have a high-ranking official who's definitely... She didn't know she was being filmed, and it's in the greater interest of the structure of power to not have people like this dissenting from that mainstream narrative. And we have her on audio saying it was not that in any form, and that the people still being detained is anti-constitutional.
Of Ukraine. Russia have got their agenda, we've got our agenda, we believe our agenda is more in line with what most American citizens will benefit, but they can't actually say that.
What about Asimov in Ukraine?
True, because what they want is a unipolar hegemonic world.
Where's the left on Nazis in the Ukraine? I'm just saying.
Same way that CNN don't even consider that what they're saying is dangerous, harmful, and now we're at a point where it's sort of that their approach to it may have been counterproductive in the most basic medical ways, and they weren't able to have that conversation because of financial imperatives and because they're basically owned.
Well, they're a propaganda network.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really all they are.
That's it.
They're just a propaganda network. And I used to think they were the news. And I think at one point in time they were the news. And I think somewhere along the line...
I have one theory I'll share about this, and I gotta go.
Started spending so much money. I mean, you've seen those clips. Brought to you by Pfizer. Anderson Cooper. Brought to you by Pfizer. There is no way they can be honest. There's no way. If you're accepting money from the very people that you now have to hold criminally liable, and they have been criminally liable.
They are criminals. Simple as that. Now enjoy some ogre with cleavage, because we live in a weird society. This is what happens when you're on lockdown too long, I suppose. Oh man, was I just showing the content without camera? Anyway, so my crazy, unfounded theory... Do not strike me down for just thinking freely, okay? I have nothing to back this up, except my own imagination. I determined, in my make-believe land, allegedly, that somewhere after the Kennedy assassination, or Watergate, where Nixon, a sitting president, had to step down, I think that our government looked at itself more as a whole. They looked at the forest for the trees instead of the individual trees. They're like, holy shit, man, we don't look good on the grand world stage having one of our presidents caught in a scandal. And the media, Woodward and Bernstein, the media, they helped to expose us. Why don't we start, I don't know, funding the media? Let's work hand in hand and control the narrative. So somewhat around this time is when I believe. And then look, shortly after... When we have the Kennedy assassination, this is common knowledge already, they coined the term, our three-letter famous agencies, CIA, FBI, I think FBI here, if you dared to say the Kennedy assassination that we know is all kinds of fucked up, was anything but what they were saying on the news. Lee Harvey Oswald did it and did it alone, that's it. They invented the word conspiracy theorist to already have a go-to immediate, like, haha, look at this stupid person, they're crazy, they're toxic, stay away, or you're going to get infected with thinking for yourselves. So now, they're conspiracy theorists, and if you happen to even go into that narrative and ask questions and question what we're telling you, you are also a part of the network of being a conspiracy, and it's anti-American. So I have formulated, somewhere in that span of time, the media and our government, the powers that be, said, hey, fuck it, it's working against each other, has not been serving us. Why don't we just, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, I'll drop some stories in your back pocket on these people, that people, I'll feed you more about other countries. We know MK Ultra, and we know, what's the other one with the propaganda is still alive and thriving. So we have all this misinformation and propaganda we need to pump. We need your help. And then, boom, we have what we now have, known as the mainstream media, telling us everything that we should think, say, and do every day of our lives, if you still bother with that shit. It's seeping into our streaming services in the form of ads. Look how the ads are targeted. I can say something with nothing technically on. say something about a restaurant or a device, and then I'll turn on the fucking internet, and the first advertisement is something I said out loud. Okay, I was gonna add another anecdote, but I gotta save some, and I have work today. CanCon will be here soon. I have to reach out to him. I told him when my channel's back on, we were gonna do a collaboration. The mentor, Josh, stuck in the middle. We're gonna be doing something together Thursday night, around 10:30 p.m. I'm looking forward to that because that's going to my roots, and I miss having like a partner in this battle here. So I just want to thank everybody, regardless if it's love, hate, whatever, or curiosity. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your sincerity. And for more importantly than anything else, thinking for yourself. That is something that you may feel is thankless, but you don't know the world of good you're doing for yourself and the world around you, for daring to ask questions you're told not to, and for daring not to live comfortably and think like everybody around you. So thank you for that. Y'all take care. Queen, D-Libby, Mishka, Shamrock, Sly, I think I'm going to start White Dragon, all of you that reached out to me, Pooh, Misfit, people I don't recognize, Sodium Soldier, all of you, just thank you, okay? Have a lovely, blessed day. Make it something special. One life to live. Remember that. Let nobody ruin it for you.